Hello YouTube and YouTube viewers, it is Cody Williams again, and this is Balloon Artist Q&A, where you ask a balloon artist a question. Like all the other videos, there's going to be a list of the 5 questions being asked, along with an annotation in one of the corners letting you know which question number we're on, so you can fast forward to what you just don't care. So, also one of the reasons why I'm a little slow sometimes to upload every weekly tutorial or a weekly video on Q&A series is it takes some time to set up a studio, and sometimes it's more work than I have time for. So to get this video out this week, it's just going to be filmed on my cell phone. Hope you guys don't mind the boring background and Raja hanging out on the couch and stuff. So, all right. Also, it's filmed on my cell phone. Anyway, so question number 1 is asked by Chris Kimber. Do your hands ever ache with lots of twisting, and do you do anything to prevent it? Yes, they do. And yes, I do. So what I do, sorry, I had a tickle from cat hair. So what I do is, I read this carpal tunnel stretch a while ago. So before every gig, I do this stretch. So what I do is I put my hands out forward. I stretch my wrists back as far as they'll go. And you should feel some pull right here. Do it both sides and hold this for 10 to 15 seconds, pulling back the whole time. So you should feel a burn right here for 15 seconds. I then rest for 15 seconds. After 15 seconds of rest, I then ball into a fist, hands are out again, shoulders are pushing out too. I curl the fist into a ball, and I bring them down, and you should feel some burning right kind of in here now. And you hold this, actually over here, and you hold this for another 10 to 15 seconds. After that, you release, and you rest for 10 to 15 seconds. Do that 3 times, so 15 seconds, 15 seconds, 15 seconds, 15 seconds, 15 seconds, 15 seconds, 15 3 times. Now, I do this before and after every gig. Once I started doing this, there was an astronomical improvement in how long my wrists would last during gigs without getting sore and how they felt the next day. So stretch your wrists before and after. That's the stretch that I use. It's for preventative for carpal tunnel. But also you can just get aching and repetitive motion injuries. So make sure you rest. And some people soak their hands in hot water or Epsom salt, little wrist baths. Won't hurt, go for it. More blood circulation, the faster it heals. But yeah, they do get sore. Another thing that you didn't mention that I will is that with a lot of line twisting, you'll cut your cuticles sometimes, especially if you don't keep your nails trimmed. So occasionally you'll cut that little skin right above your fingernail. So you can either use a cuticle pen, which is kind of like a lemon and ointment that you put on it, and it helps soften them and they heal. That's the best way of doing it in the long run. If you have an event that day or you're in the middle of a gig and they're hurting and it's starting to be terrible, take crazy glue or super glue and super glue your cuticles. It's a quick fix. I don't recommend doing that long term, but the pain will go away. You won't injure any further, and you have ugly glue on your finger. But that's what I do for like 8-hour plus events, things like that I start to dry out and start to get hurt. Start to even bleed, super glue. Stops bleeding, holds it all down. It's actually a trick I learned from softball. So, question number 2. Danielle Justice asked me, I am new to twisting and have my first gig planned at a local market. This is 2 weeks ago, so it might be too late. I was wondering how many balloons should I have with me to ensure I don't run out? And of what colors, what you could to a beginner Q&A. If anyone else can answer, that would be so helpful. Anyone else in the comments? If I struggle to read sometimes, there's a bright light coming out of my phone and I get a little retina blinded for a moment. I look down. Anyways, so how many balloons to gig for a market? I use a deluxe, the largest version, twist 'em up apron when I'm doing long restaurants or events where I have to be standing. I also have a triple busking bag by Twist 'em Up for really long events because it holds a little bit more, and you can also take some shelving liner and roll it up and throw some more balloons in there. I want to say the average twister should have between 50 to 100 of each color for an 8-hour event that they're going to use. So 50 to 100 white, 50 to 100 black, 50 to 100 green and pink and blue, just 50 to 100 of each of your 260 color. And I bring about 25 to 50 of my 350 colors and about 25 to 50 of my 160 colors in my busking bag. Yeah, it's about average what I bring, and then I bring the rounds and things like that. And you just have to gauge by what you, as a balloon artist, typically make, what colors you use more often, and what your go-to designs. Because even though people will always request different things, they're typically going to request what you're making the most of, and you can kind of push what you're making. So that part really depends on the person, but I use about that many, and I have a busking bag, the triple version, and I fill that up to the brim, and that's what I use for long events. I'll be doing that next month for an event that's for 5 hours, 2 days in a row. All right, cool. So hope that helps. Lots of balloons, lots of colors. And make sure to bring water and a pump. Even if you are a mouth inflator, use a pump for long events. It'll save you a lot of energy. I do. So, question number 3 was asked by Green Adder again, and he has some pretty good questions usually. So, so far at least. We'll see. Question number 3 is, what do you do when someone asks you to make a character or object or other thing that you've never heard of? This happens every day. Because there's lots of foreign cartoons, there's lots of fan flicks, there's lots of animes, and also I don't really have kids, so I'm not watching the new Wow Wow Bubsy on or anything like that, so I'm not sure what characters are what. This is the reason that I always bring my cell phone to gigs, and it's always in my pocket. Well, also for credit cards, but. So I'm constantly Googling characters. If a kid asks me for a character that I just won't make, I just tell them that I'm sorry, it takes too long, I really can't. I wish I could, but I can't. If they argue, you're not good enough, you can say, sure. Like, be humble, don't worry about it. Don't try to prove who you are, because you don't have time sometimes. But, yeah, I get lots of requests for things like Optimus Prime. I have a fairly simple one, but for a while I didn't. And so I just told them, I'm sorry, that's just too complicated, I can't make that for you today. I wish I could, but I can't. Lori Hurley taught me that sentence a long time ago. I'm sorry, I wish I could. I'm sorry, I wish I could. If there's ever something you just can't do, time doesn't permit it, your skill doesn't permit it, just say, I'm sorry, I wish I could. Here's another option I can do for you. Yeah, that has just saved me in so many situations. But if I have time to try and make something up, or if I have time to do something elaborate, I do Google the characters on my phone and look it up. Using Siri or voice text is also nice, just saying, show me up Pikachu. And you look it up and make it. Sometimes you can't, but like I said, that is another video I made about how to design new characters. If I see something that's like, okay, that head looks kind of like Mario, Bob the Builder, I can totally just make that head and then change the body up and make that character. So that's what I do for that. I typically can look at design and know if I can do it or not right away before I start doing it. If I can't, I just won't. Skylanders, oh god, Skylanders is definitely one that it hit or miss, man, what they ask for. And Pokemon too. Question number 4. We have a 4 and a 4A. Now, they're not too related, but they're both asked by the same person, and that's why I put them in one category. And one we kind of touched base on before, but I want to go back into it again. So, question number 4. I twist balloons 7 days a week, working at least 10 hours each day. What is the fastest way to load an apron? I wear one exclusively. Any tips would be welcomed. Thank you, Cody. So, wow. Question number 1, make sure you're doing this, because holy cow, that is a lot of twisting. That is so much more than I do, and I think I'm going to get burnt out with how much I twist. So, loading an apron, what I do is, again, like I said, I have twist them up, because they are pretty quick to load. For me, at least, I like them. So, I have the 3 strips. Let's go with the apron, because that's what you use. So, I have these 3 strips. I open up the guts, I pull the strips out next to me, and I lay them down on top of each other. I leave 1 here, 2 here. And obviously I have all my balloons. There's a Q&A video, not Q&A, what inspired the Q&A video was the balloon storage video I made a while ago. I will put that in the annotation, I think, or something, I'll link somewhere. That's how I keep my balloons set up. So I have a drawer system that's just full of bags of balloons, like Ziploc bags, they're stuffed with individual colors. If you're sorting out balloons, God, I don't even want to get into how long that's going to take. But if you have the individual colors, cool. So I pull a drawer out, I set it next to an apron. For all my 260s and 350s, I just set those down, and I grab the balloons out and I add more to fill the color up. I don't count my balloons. I didn't twist them up, holds up to 50, I believe. I just know what 30 to 50 feels like in my hand, like, okay, this is enough. I strip down. It's the fastest way of doing it, so I just put it in my hand, strip them down, and I go one by one through it, and then the bags that I've used next to the bucket, and I pull them out as I go, and then once I do that strip, then do one on top, buckle it in, third one, finish it, buckle it in, and now next to the box is all the bags of balloons, and I make sure they're all zipped up and put them back in the bucket. And I put it away, and then I close the guts, zip it up, and now I've got those little pockets for rounds and everything, and then I wear my apron, pull out the rest of the drawers, and grab the rounds and stuff I need. Takes me from a 0 to full load, probably 40 minutes to load my apron. If I'm just modifying it, like adding some colors I've run low on or whatever, it can take me from anywhere 10 to 30 minutes, depending on how low I am. So that's about how long it takes me. If you're using sorted balloons, stop, buy individual colors. It'll save you a lot of time. We're also going to get into finding out what colors are what, which is question number 5. But anyways, for 4.B, or 4A I should say, Roger, you have hair somewhere just floating around because my nose keeps tickling. I know it's from you. Yeah, you. All right, 4A, Magic Owl Balloons. Again, asks, when doing balloons at IHOP, do you slim down balloons as it gets busier to get more tables? Also, most restaurants in my area will allow you to do balloons for tips only. How do you just pay for your time? We did talk about restaurants getting to pay for you in a previous video. I think video 1. Not sure, but we'll go over it. We'll go over that a little bit again too. So question A, or question 1 of your 2 questions there, I do slim down balloons, very much so. If you ever notice I have a Mickey Mouse tutorial and it's just a head on a stick, yes, I can make a body. Am I going to? God, no. If it's busy at IHOP, the kid gets a Mickey Mouse on a head, and it's a little Mickey wand. It's only 2 balloons. If a kid says I want blah, 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 and this will go back into question number 3, if I don't have time to make it, I tell them I don't have time. I'm so sorry. I wish I could. And I start making up rules as if there's my boss tells me I have to do certain things. I don't really have a boss, but the rules that I put in place for myself, they're sometimes true. For example, I want Optimus Prime, or I want a blah, blah. I'm sorry, I'm only allowed to use 4 balloons per child on your sculpture. It would take me at least 7 or 8 balloons. I can't do that. I'm really sorry. I wish I could. But here's what I can make you that's like that. A good example is kids asking for Link from Zelda. Probably because I usually wear some kind of Link attire, like Dragon Ball Z stuff, I don't know. But I always have some kind of nerdy attire on, they'll ask for those characters. If someone asks me for Link, I tell them, I'm sorry, I don't have time to make that for you today. Book me for a party, I'll make you an awesome one. For now, I can make you a Master Sword and Shield. Or if it's really busy, I can make you a Master Sword or a Hylian Shield. I want to make them both. And there's videos on those somewhere. Go to uniquehotty9.com for tutorials, and there's a click on the link to those. I have that video for those weapons. But yeah, I do slim down. Slow restaurants, I make cool big stuff. So I kind of like slow restaurants sometimes because I get to practice. Busy restaurants, you're a performing machine and you're bouncing tables. You make more, but you're also making smaller things, and it's not as fun. I know balloon artists love making big, cool things. We love showing off the stuff we can make, but sometimes you have to make the fast stuff to make everyone happy. Restaurants in my area won't allow you to do balloon strips only. That's wrong. I hate that so much. I don't like when people work in restaurants for just tips. I understand there's some situations that it's all you can do, but typically that's not true. Typically if a restaurant says we won't pay, blah, 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 we only do for tips only, it's because sometime they've already had a balloon artist do it for tips, or they know of another restaurant that's had a balloon artist do it for tips. And it's that paradigm shift that I would like everyone to get together and kind of change, and restaurants should be paying for their balloon artists because it's disrespecting our community and it's making us seem like we're not worth it, and we are. We're providing our own materials, our own insurance, all our own things, and you can't pay us what you pay your servers that they can be a high school dropout and still do? No offense, serving is super hard to do. I could not handle the stress of being a server. If that came off and told me to servers, don't take it. I have nothing but respect for everyone I work with as servers. I am so glad as a balloon artist you have the icing on the cake for a job. Everything's just candy and unicorns. Servers deal with all the ugly. People can be evil in restaurants so much. So servers, God bless you, we need you. Everyone should be forced to work a year in hospitality to know what humans are like. So, but yeah, the servers also should be paid at least minimum wage. I hate that one. Arizona doesn't pay, where I live, they don't pay servers minimum wage, they pay them less. So restaurants should pay servers minimum wage, and they should pay balloon artists at least that, if not more, because obviously they should pay more. But they're providing their own materials and learning time, and so much I can go on. But to answer your question, how do I get them to pay? Every restaurant I work in used to have a free balloon artist. And I come in for a day for free. I lay out how much money they'll make off having me here on a regular schedule. They'll pretty much mostly only pay if it's within their budget that they can make a profit off of in the long run after you're there and established. also you have to break down what you're paying and what you're providing for them, what they can gain from you, why it's worth paying, and you give them that free demonstration to show how the customers like it so they can see with their own eyes that it's gonna work and they're gonna profit off of this. Restaurants are a profit business. They're not hiring you to come play and perform, because I mean that's nice and fun, but they're gonna care about numbers at the end of the day, not as much making the customers happy, unless making them happy will make them money, which is typically where you price it, how I mentioned in previous videos. So you do that free demonstration, you explain them what you're giving to you. I give my restaurants posters that say I'm gonna be there this day, and this all comes with the service, and they see what they're paying for, and also there's social media advertising for them, all these things. And you really hammer that it's in the marketing budget, and you're gonna make money off me being here. And sometimes I've done a free couple weeks to make sure they're okay, yeah, and then give them a price, and then you start working with them. I've never done more than 3 weeks for free in a restaurant. That's one shift for those 3 weeks. And that was for a Roadhouse a while back that had a free balloon artist that just would not pay. And I showed them after 3 weeks, 2-3 tables that were coming in hey, we're here for the balloon guy. I was like, see? Now imagine 3 months later. You gotta get your foot in the door. But eventually you can't work somewhere for free. It's just for food. It's gonna be a paradigm shift where everyone thinks that's how it is, and we don't want that. Question number 5. Oh, this is a cool one. Jeffrey Davis asked another question. He says, thanks, I have another question for you. When you have dark colors, i.e. dark purple, which I think you mean quartz purple, dark blue, I think it's sapphire, I'm not sure, I don't use that color, dark brown, sienna, I think, we'll bleep that out. Can you tell them apart when they are uninflated? I have a drawer of mixed dark colors that's been bugging me. All right, so I got a couple balloons because I read that question, and the only way to show it is this way. So one, you can blow them up, but then your balloons stretch out, they're not so good. So in my hand, I have black, and I have emerald green, which is dark green that is one of the easiest ones to tell. It's not black actually, but I don't have the other colors because I don't use them because they annoy me too. Don't worry. Quartz purple is the devil. So they look really similar. I can tell looking at it that this is the emerald green and this is the black. The best way of doing it, or a few ways. One, you can stretch a little bit of it, and you look at a bright light, you can kind of see through it, or a flashlight is a good way. So if you kind of stretch it a little bit, it's flat, put over a flashlight, you can kind of see the color shining through, you can see a color. One of the best ways is to let it, hold it open so there's air inside of it, pinch it, and slide your hand down and force the air to the very end, and it'll start to inflate. And you can see this is a green tint. So this is emerald green. So that's this way of doing that, because now you let go, the balloon hasn't been stretched out too badly, and you can still blow it up and use it again. Once you get them figured out what color's what, separate them. I have my aprons very separated. I do color theory, and then I move some colors around to make sure that they're not too close. I don't put robin's egg next to mocha brown. They're very different looking, but in fluorescent lighting, they look similar when they're next to each other. So I moved them away from each other because they were at one point one row down from each other, so I just kind of moved over a little bit. So don't put your black next to your purple, put it the opposite side or something, and just know that right side's black, left side's purple, or however you do that. But when you're putting them in your drawer you mentioned, so for example, for dark purple, I will set them all down, and then I'll take a purple violet or a spring lilac, or another purple color, and it's really obviously purple, and I'll tie it around them, holding them into a bundle, so I know this bundle with the purple balloon on them are all dark purple. So that's how I organize that. As for questions of my balloon organizing altogether, that's in the balloon organizing video I did a while back. So, yeah, cool. I hope this all worked in this video clip. I've never done this long of a video on my cell phone, so let's see if it works. You guys have a great day today, better tomorrow. God bless you guys, have fun. My flash just turned off. What does that mean? Close. Oh, cool. The flash turned off because my battery's low, but it's still recording. All right, see you guys next week for the next 5 questions.